Before you get on, you're trying to prove to the world you're worth something, your value, right?
Yeah.
Like look at me, like so you wear the brands and you're all loud about it. And then once you get there, it's like there has to be something beyond that, right? So what's your purpose?
Yeah.
So it's like then you start giving back.
What are your values in life? What do you see as important in this world? Because I think that you just answered half of it already.
I never want to lose like who I am and the root of my values and who I am and where I came from and forget about my family and my friends just to attain more. If I could do something for you, like I'll probably do it.
That's
just
love.
because I want,
That's
love.
love.
So
Yeah.
love is very,
Love is
very important.
number
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Were you lost before? Were you ever lost?
I mean, you
That
know,
shit
everybody,
happen, though, huh?
everybody gets lost.
Let me give you a scenario.
Yeah.
So for me, right now I don't know my purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna tell
Get
you
deep
why.
with it, bro.
Damn, I'm going live TV with this one.
Nobody knows
So I had a purpose, and my purpose was my mom.
This is a very deep segment here.
So, bro.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, right.
God
Take your
damn,
time.
man.
Today, we have a special guest, right?
Oh, how special is he?
Man, you tell me, before you say who it is, though,
Okay.
tell me what he's done in
Okay,
the life,
I can tell you some of the
Talk
things he's
about
done,
it,
man.
brother.
He's a 4-time Artist of the Year award
4-time.
winner at Korean Hip Hop Awards.
Not one.
He's won the Golden Disc Award this year.
This year,
He's
innit?
extremely talented and he's very well versed.
The golden disc, is it gold? Is it?
It's
straight gold?
It should. I don't think it's
He can
real
sell
gold
it
though.
if he
but
wants
like, you know what I'm saying? You can get rid of it probably.
Right.
You know, we've been following his music for quite some time now, as most of you viewers know. He is #1 b-boy dancer in the world. by
B-boy,
far,
innit?
Whose favorite drink happens to be Juan Soju.
Juan Soju.
Everyone, please give it up for Jay Park.
Hey, yo, Jay.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Look
yes,
at
sir.
Jay in the cut.
Golden disc, how y'all feeling? Bangkok, sing it with me. You're the answer all my problems solved. Life with you so beautiful. Let me tell you, BTS, Bongino, Sonmin, J Park. Let's go.
Hey, you guys see the Drake and Yachty interview?
Oh, yeah. I just watched that.
Like, we'll just have seen each other backstage.
We were
and it'll
just
be like,
backstage, and it's like, ah!
Where I didn't see you like 10 minutes ago, and you're just like pretend like we see each other for the first time.
I just saw you.
How you been, man?
That's crazy. He just pulled up right now. I didn't see him the whole time. What's that? This that one,
Okay.
isn't it?
He put it on the table.
What's this?
This is a present for you guys.
Present?
One soju. So this is they don't sell this version.
Word. This
They
the
don't
white
sell
one?
Yeah, it's like just a white label. It's just for like friends and family, but
Okay. So we
I'm
friends and
friends
family.
or
innit?
family. Which one am
yeah.
I? You know what I'm
Pick
saying?
one.
you guys pick one. I don't know. We'll see.
Family.
We'll see. Hey,
As far as I know, I'm
we'll see
family.
how the interview goes.
Oh yeah,
We'll see how
it's
the
gonna go
interview
lovely,
goes.
bro.
Let's go.
I can't see you do this and not compliment your
No, for
energy,
sure,
you
for
know?
sure.
So, a while ago,
Yeah.
I hopped in the convenience store.
That's the truth.
Okay.
And I said, yo, you know what? I might as well get the black version, you know what I'm saying? So we got the white and the black version. You know what's funny about this? I actually went to the store and then like the guy was like quiet. He wasn't really talking, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I grabbed the soju, he was like, oh, very good. He was like, very good. I said, oh, it's
Just
good?
now, right now.
He's not like the best in Korea.
It said,
I'm
like-
not even, I swear to God,
No,
I'm not
dead ass,
exaggerating.
Ooh, no, for
And
sure.
I said, oh, thank you. And then I was like, am I gonna enjoy? He said, yeah, mashipta. And then,
Mashipta,
and then he
mashipta.
was like, jebom, pak bom je.
Pak jebom, pak
Pak
jebom.
jebom, yeah,
Yes,
reversed it, right? He reversed it on me. I was like, who's he? But like, he was shouting you out, giving you big ups,
Damn.
bro.
You
So
know
like,
what's up.
bro, you the king of the world when it comes to soju.
Nah.
Who
like,
got something on you when it comes to soju?
I mean, no,
Alright.
we're getting there for sure. We're getting there.
already.
Okay.
But, I
I
mean-
love the humbleness. That's
No,
cool.
in terms of someone of notoriety, I'm definitely the first one to start their own liquor brand out
love
here.
that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like soju companies, we're getting there.
Yeah, okay.
Just to be real.
I love the
I mean,
modesty.
we can say that, but I've been on a few trains in here, you know what I'm saying? I've seen your face everywhere.
Oh no, for sure. Oh no, I work hard.
Yeah, for
Talk
sure.
about it. Talk
Appreciate
about
you.
it.
I appreciate you coming on, though. For
A
sure.
very hardworking man right here, man. You do so much stuff. It's crazy, bro.
So, we met at Head in the Clouds.
yeah,
in the
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
man of his
Oh,
word
you want
as
to talk
well.
about it?
No, we can
So
talk
like,
about
this is how it went. You know, we was out there with Cha Cha. Shout out to Cha Cha. Shout out to
Yeah.
Omar, all the Seattle
those
kids.
cats,
If
yeah.
you guys watching this, much love.
Yeah.
And we was just vibing, whatever, and then all of a sudden we see Jay Park from a mile away. And we like, yo, what's up,
What
Jay?
up,
And
Jay?
he showed us love. We pulled up. We was just, joking around and laughing. And after that, you went on stage.
That was like August. So
Yeah.
like seven months.
It's
ago.
been a
Look
while,
at
but
you.
like I'm grateful for you to come on the show. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Just
it's
kick
not
with
even
your
that.
voice.
Happy that you guys are in Korea.
I don't know if you know any of this, but like we're from West Africa. We got into K-pop, and now we're traveling to Korea a lot. And every day we're learning some cool stuff about the culture.
Yeah.
Wait, so West Africa, where?
Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah, you're right, my
like,
bad.
and then when did you guys go to the States?
So our story is pretty long, so I don't really like talking about it, but I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
I mean, what is this like a podcast or like an interview?
Nah, it's whatever.
It's
you know
a
what I mean?
hangout,
Like,
bro. The
our
cameras are
show,
not even here.
We just be chilling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because
Like,
I'm interested. Because I don't know that much about you guys.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so like, yeah, like, how did we start? Like, we was homies. Like, okay, so I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Originally, he's from LA.
LA, yeah.
Okay.
Right, and so like, we both at an early age was shipped off to Africa, sort of thing. Right, go to
Okay.
Africa, learn about your roots, learn
Yeah.
about your culture,
Okay.
your religion, because we're Muslim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just get involved. Right.
Yeah.
So we went there to an international school.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
we was there for at least a decade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like 9 years.
Like
yeah.
all like a little shy of a decade, right? So we was
Okay.
there, so we was able to pick up an African language called Wolof. We speak French, learning Korean.
Damn.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I'm
learned in
saying?
Korean. Hold on. 안녕하세요.
there,
So you
there.
guys are very well cultured, like know multiple languages, been around multiple different types of cultures. Interesting, yeah.
That happened, and then we came back to the States,
Yeah.
obviously, but we were just best friends. We're not
Yeah.
related, right?
Yeah, okay.
We were just best friends, and like that whole thing happened. He went back to LA, I went back to Chicago,
Yeah.
and then we decided to get together because, you know, I was pursuing basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a beast, boy. Let me tell you, boy, I was a beast. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And so, but I got injured, tore my ACL.
Oh, damn.
That's like
okay.
everyone,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
typical story.
So I was like, boom, dang, okay, I got to figure out something else, right?
Yeah.
So I moved to LA,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we stayed together.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of picked up YouTube as a hobby after
Okay.
the whole basketball thing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how the whole story, and then we got into K-pop, and
Yeah.
then K-hip hop, and then, yeah, now we.
And then here you are. That's what's up. The come up.
Beautiful story.
You,
The come
you
up.
call it
Come
the
up,
come up?
right?
No, for sure. This is the come up.
Yeah, yeah,
it's the
yeah.
come up.
Because
Right,
you guys
it's the
did
come
it
up.
just as a hobby, and then now you just have like all the.
Literally.
I seen that you guys had like everybody on here, right? Like 17 and all them. You guys ate some like samgyeopsal or something like that with Jesse. And that one went super viral, right?
Yeah, yeah, it
Shout out
went
to
crazy.
Jesse if you're watching this.
Shout out
Facts,
Jess,
facts,
yeah.
facts.
I think our first video with Jessie though was when she came to LA.
Okay.
And that was like 2018 or 19. People didn't really see that one, and we just went to her concert. That was
Yeah,
funny.
we've been around for a while, but not as long as you. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I'm old.
Nah, you a legend.
Come
That's
on,
what you
bro.
are.
I guess.
We gonna dig in.
No,
we gonna
but,
talk about
but
it.
He goes, I guess.
I guess.
Legends be like,
I guess.
go
but,
on.
you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to age well in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I'm
I-
not following.
because I've been around for 16 years, right?
Right.
Okay.
So it's like when someone's been around for that long, because sometimes the trajectory is like this,
Yeah.
and then it's like this, and then it's like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my trajectory's kind of always been like this, and it's
Damn.
still.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, of course, thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God for everything.
Yeah.
First
But
of all,
like-
even
But,
if it,
but, bro,
yeah.
you work hard, though.
I do work
you know what
hard,
I'm
so,
saying?
but
Like,
it's very, very, very hard to like maintain that spot and to that
Interesting.
trajectory. It's
so what do you do when it becomes too much? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you got to keep.
That's what I was gonna say. Like to me, it looks like you just jumping on top of mountains. Like
Listen to me,
when you
man.
tired of singing, you hit the rap mountain. You tired of that, you hit the entrepreneur. You tired of that, hit the label.
well, so I get sick of things very easily.
Really?
That's a good thing,
Yes.
bro.
That's interesting.
That's a good thing to
It's
have.
a good thing, but it's so that's why I'm like, because you know sometimes it's like you're like the jack of all trades, but you're a master of none, that type of shit. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but you know, I feel like I do my due diligence and I'm authentic in everything I do, but it's like you don't know me for one. Like,
facts.
oh man, he's the greatest rapper ever. No, I'm
Everything.
not.
Yeah,
He's
Nah,
the greatest. No,
You
I'm
the
not.
greatest human ever.
I
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
That's most important. Like
Yeah.
being a good, solid human is
Yeah.
always most
All the
important for
time.
me.
Because you're really like generous too, like, you know what I mean? Like, you've done a lot for a lot of people, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then like I'm sure, I don't know, I'm just guessing right
No,
now,
for
but
sure.
I feel like you probably spend a lot of your money on like food.
Oh.
Like for everyone
Oh,
else.
hell
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
'Cause I don't really go shopping. I don't really buy cars. Like, so most of my
you probably got a few though. Like,
I got one.
You got one in
that
it. Wait. What you got?
No, but I bought it. Like,
Why you ignoring? What you got? What you got?
It's a Bentley.
You got a
but-
Bugatti?
Nah, hell
A
no.
Big B in it?
8 years ago. So it's been 8 years. Since
Oh
we bought
wow.
it. Yeah, it's been
Wow,
a
you
while.
haven't bought. Whoa.
No, we haven't bought a car in
Man.
8 years. So one car that I ever bought was a Bentley, and then that's it.
but it's really hard to drive in Korea anyways. So it's kind
Yeah,
of the point.
and you know, I'm not that into cars. Like I spend most of my finances like just either investing in companies or my family or
Yeah.
the homies or whatever.
sure.
So yeah, and obviously when I was younger, I'd buy like jewelry and shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
but it's like I don't continue to buy jewelry like.
You're moving up in the world. That's
Yeah,
all
well,
good.
you know, it's like you because it's one of those things where it's like before you get on, you're trying to prove to the world you're worth something, your value, right?
Yeah.
Like look at me, like so you wear the brands and you're all loud about it.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, it's like there has to be something beyond that, right? So what's your purpose? So it's
Yeah.
like then you start giving back.
Yeah,
Right? And then you
okay.
feel like, oh shit, okay, like because you get numbers, you get followers, you get number ones and whatever, and it's like that's cool. But then if that's the only thing that's here, like then what's beyond that? Like what's how many number ones can you get? Like, oh, you have 10 number ones. No, you have 20 number ones. Oh, you have 100 million views, 200 million, a billion.
But what does it equate to?
Yeah, like what does
Yeah,
it
what's
equate to?
important?
Like what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah,
like so
facts.
it's like for me, I'm just like I always try to find a purpose in life beyond
That's beautiful,
numbers.
bro.
I hear
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Beautiful,
So
bro.
yeah.
And I think
That's
that's
crazy.
what lasts forever at the same time, right?
Facts.
What are your values in life?
Oh.
What do you see as important in this world? Because I think that you just answered half of it already.
For me, I never want to, because living in this world, obviously you need money to survive and to get by and to pay bills and to put food on the table. But I never want to move just for money. You know what I'm saying? Or just for attention or just for followers or clicks or whatever. Like, first of all, like it's all about my friends and my family. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All about my friends and because that's who made me who I am.
Right.
Yeah. And then obviously it's like, I'm very thankful for the fans and because they got me to where I'm at, right?
100%.
Without them, I would be nothing. Like,
That's the truth.
yeah, right?
That's the truth.
Because, basically you need to be, as a celebrity or whatever, like a singer, your music needs to be in demand. Someone needs to buy tickets to watch you
Yeah.
in order for me to make a living.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm very grateful. But I never want to lose, like, who I am in the root of my values and who I am and where I came from and forget about my family, my friends, just to attain more. I'm just all about my friends and my family and then who they know me as, like just me being a solid human being, me doing things out of the goodness of my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this just to benefit off
Yeah.
someone. Like even if I can't benefit off you, if I could do something for you,
Yeah.
like I'll probably do it.
That's
Just
love.
because I want,
That's
love.
love.
So
Yeah.
love is very,
Love
very
is
important.
number
Yes.
one.
Love right
And
there.
it's not love between a man and a woman or love between your parents, just love in general, just for being a good human and for other human beings, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like
crazy.
No, for sure. That's
good,
very,
that's good.
very important to me.
At one point in my life, I was a little lost.
Yeah.
Myself, I was trying to figure out why the hell do I wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
No suicidal stuff, but it's like, what is my why?
Yeah,
Why do I
facts.
do it? What is it? And then one day I was watching a podcast, and then that's when they said, take a book or a paper and write everything that you deem as valuable in your life, everything that you see as happy, everything that you love,
Yeah.
and then try to find your value from it. And for me, my value was happiness and love.
Yes.
And for you, I can see that if love is out of the equation, it's like your world is gonna be in black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
It's no
no
color.
color,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something a lot of people actually lack.
Yes.
What I realized. I also read that you live with your family as well, right?
Yeah.
Our culture, like back home, everyone lives with each other.
Oh, yeah.
So like, what's really interesting about our culture back home is that like, it's very different from the U.S.
Yes. And
because-
talk about Senegal.
Yeah, Senegal.
Yeah.
Because in the U.S., you grow up, you go to college, you separate,
You move
get
out, yeah.
You get a girl, you get a place, you get a kid,
Yeah.
wife, all that, right? Back home,
Yeah.
you grow up, you still live with your parents.
Yeah.
Like we all combine incomes. All the men
Yeah.
combine incomes.
Yeah.
So like it makes it more able.
Very family oriented.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
I
that's
think
the
in
same.
Korea is very family oriented as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed. When I came to Korea for the first time in 2021, that's like my first starstruck moment was seeing. Okay, so some context, right? You know that.
See, wait,
Wait, let me give you some context first.
Let
Let me get context. It's not a celebrity or anything
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
that, but it's like
some fine ass girl. That's
Nah,
just down the street.
hey man, girls fine out here now. I ain't gonna lie about that one. I'm trying to find a Korean wife if you got any suggestions. So in America, right, the culture there of music, as you may know already, is like you have to put it on. You have to have an ego. You have to
All that.
show the cars, the jewelry, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? And then when I came to Korea, people bigger than the people that flex over there.
Yeah.
They're so humble out here.
Yeah.
It's so
I realized
shocking.
that. Like I've never.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I might be tripping.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cocky Korean celebrity ever in my life. I'm tripping, huh?
Oh,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there probably are, but
maybe they're just discreet about it.
No,
maybe.
no. It's mostly. I think over here, like in the States, it's much more accepted to be flashy, to be flamboyant, to be loud, to be, you know, and you know, it makes for great entertainment.
Yeah.
As we're here, it's like, you know, manners is a very,
Respect, yeah.
respect and manners is a very big thing. So
I love that.
you know, it was kind of looked down upon because also it's like Korea was super poor. Yeah, super.
Back then,
yeah, super duper poor. Like, you know, not a lot of people know this, just because it's like, you know, a lot of people know K-pop and Squid Games and Korean barbecue, but it's like Korea was like annexized. It was illegal to speak Korean at one point in Korea. Like they tried to change all the last names, like rape, torture, like yes, and then like try to take all the artifacts away from Korea, and then, you know, gained independence, and then the Korean War happened.
Right. Okay.
And so like millions of Korean people died, like this, and so all the like the cities were wiped out, and so yeah, it took a while to, right? Like
I'm
people don't
learning
really know
some
that.
stuff.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yo, that's
And-
like
yeah.
boom.
And so that, and that's why it's till this day, like, you know, all the Korean males have to go to the army. It's not just something where it's like, oh, it's just tradition. No, it's like, because the wars technically it's not, and it hasn't ended.
Still like
Yeah,
low key
yeah.
going.
And there's like a peace treaty, but it hasn't officially ended.
Oh, I
So-
just got my mind.
Hey
fucked.
man, Jay a teacher too.
Wait, was the original question was? What was the original
Whoops.
question? I don't
Damn.
remember shit.
I'm loving it though. All I know is I
There was a
learned.
point. There was a point.
We was getting somewhere.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, and then everybody, like, the country was super poor, right?
Right,
right.
And so everybody had to come together to build the country up.
Okay.
And so, like, individually, if someone flashes their money and stuff like that, that's why I feel like it's kind of looked down upon.
That's
Whoa, this
so.
is
There's a
deep.
history in this. Why y'all never
This
tell me
is
this?
deep.
In Korea, like the brands and the jewelry and like foreign cars, it's a big thing. Yeah. Maybe not with the celebrities because they get, you know, flack for it, but just for people with money in
Bro,
general,
I've
with
seen
younger
5
kids.
Maybachs already.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I'm saying.
right in front of our
That's
spot,
crazy,
Maybach.
bro.
I'm
You're
like,
right. You're right.
Yeah. So people here, like, they like to be flashy. They like to flaunt it because they want to be like, yo, like, look at me, like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
this
me.
now.
One told you.
All right, so boom, we out here with Jay Park. As you guys can see, we about to play Jenga.
Indeed.
Now, Jay, in these Jengas, we're about to just, you know, pick pieces and talk and stuff.
Okay.
But in some of these, there's your lyrics, you know?
Okay.
We got some dope ones. We got some meaningful ones.
Some
we got some
meaningful
love
ones, yeah.
ones. We
Some
got some
dirty ones.
inspirational. We got some dirty ones. You know what I'm saying? We got all the good goods, you know what I mean?
That's what
So,
the fans love. They like the dirty shit.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to start first. Oh, there's a one. Okay, you know, my Korean's not that
Okay,
good.
no worries,
So get me right here. What that mean? What that say?
이걸 하기 위해 태어났어. I'm about to go crazy. I bite. I'm about to go crazy. What was it? So this means like I was born to do this. Like, I'm
Okay.
about to go crazy. Like, I mean, and that's like super.
He was born
just,
to do this. I'm about to go crazy.
Yeah, like I was born to, cause you know, for me, my dream when I was younger wasn't to be a singer.
Oh, shit.
What was it?
What was it? You want to be a teacher, huh?
Nah, hell.
Cause you was politicking
Hey,
a while
I
ago.
saw
I'm
you with
like,
the babies though.
Oh yeah, you see.
yeah.
No, but yeah, I had horrible grades. I couldn't have probably
Damn,
been a
me
teacher.
too.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
I'm lying. I had straight A's.
Hey, don't be judging me, man.
As long as you're making a good living, it's all good. Oh.
I have to put it back
that's
on
what
top.
we doing?
I don't want to do it.
Hey, they're too young to know what Jenga is.
Man, you didn't know this shit.
Hey,
Okay. These autumn skies to winter night keep moving fast cause time just flies. I don't know how to rap it.
Oh. Now this
Forget
is
about
Forget
tomorrow?
About Tomorrow, yeah. So this, I didn't even write this lyric, to be honest.
Oh, word?
So,
Okay.
my homie Yultron actually wrote this. Autumn skies to winter nights. Like, the seasons keep changing because time keeps
Just
on moving.
flying, yeah.
Time goes on. I
how do
like
you
that.
feel about time though? Like,
Time is the
feel
most
like you-
precious thing ever, like, because you can't get it back. And everybody's so, you know, focused on getting everything on you know, their phone, but it's like sometimes you just have to enjoy the moment.
present.
yeah.
Be present, and everything's for a reason. Like, even us here,
right here.
talking, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
sharing this information. Like, you don't, nothing's a coincidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for
That's
me,
a fact.
This
Yeah.
boy wise. Hey, hit me with
That's
this
the
one,
truth,
right? You're a busy guy.
yeah.
What do you do during the day? You only have 24 hours. How can you fit so much in 24 hours? What's your days usually like?
Well, I'm good. I think I'm good at multitasking.
Oh,
I'm
good.
good at multitasking, and then I'm never so. I'm always aware of other people as well. Like, I'm never so wrapped up in my own shit where it's like I forget about people. You know what I'm saying? Like even this, like You know, that was like what 7-8 months ago.
You never forgot
That's
about it?
crazy.
That's my
That's
guy.
like
That's cool.
impersonations, boy.
Yeah, he.
No, because I don't ever say anything that I can't be held accountable for. You know what I'm saying?
word.
So, yeah. So if I wasn't gonna go on the show, I might have been like, yeah, we'll see, bro. I'd be like, yeah, all right, yeah.
We'll talk
We'll talk about it.
All right, yeah.
Give me a fake email.
I appreciate you guys' come up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys try to do something positive, like the energy. I just feel like it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, like some homies from Seattle, like, yo, like my little partners, they do YouTube, like, hey, be on the show one time. It's like, oh, for sure, like, one of those type of, I feel like it's one of those type of things where it's like, it doesn't really feel like work. Speaking with you guys, it's like, I feel like, you know, you guys are very wise for your age because you're very well cultured and you've had a lot of experiences with a lot of different types of people. So it's like, I feel like we're very like-minded in a way.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know nothing, so I'm just trying to pick your brain right
No,
now.
for sure.
You know, that's the only selfish thing I like to do, man. I just like, you know, taking. So I think I should start giving a little bit of like, I guess, my point of view.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that more often because I usually find myself when I talk to, you know, wise people like yourself or anybody that's like older than me and may see something in the world that I haven't.
Yeah.
I usually see myself just listening and
That's good,
forgetting
though.
to talk.
You know what's interesting about that though, right? It's like when you're talking to older people and you're giving them advice, they start feeling like, what are you telling me shit, huh?
Especially people
You
in
gotta
America.
chill out, man. You know what I mean? Like
Especially people out there.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it depends because it's like
Like, who are you to tell me?
Yeah.
Like,
it depends. Like, you know, let's say, you know, someone's never made $1 million, and they try to be like, yo, this is how you make $1 million. Like, how much weight does
There's
that
a
hold?
lot of those, yeah.
How much weight does
No
that
weight.
hold?
It depends on
yeah.
the person, but not much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll listen though.
I would listen as well, but I would take it with a grain of salt because it's like, if you don't have experience in it, how are you so sure?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you know that information is going to help me.
How is it valid? And experience is the best teacher.
Exactly.
So there's no way, like, if you getting this from a book, like,
Yeah, it just depends. If someone younger than me or is speaking on something where I have no experience in, like, of course I'm gonna listen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's like, yo, like, you need to do this with your music.
that's a whole
Really?
nother story.
Your turn, bro.
Damn.
Hey, this is fun as hell. I didn't think it was gonna be this fun.
Going crazy.
추억 만들고 다시 빠져버려. So that 추억 is like making moments and then reliving them is what I'm saying.
Oh.
We're just
Yeah.
talking about living in the present.
Like, cause you know, you can make, cause moments I feel like are very important in in life. It's like, cause those are the things that you remember. It's important to create special moments so that you could relive them later in life and go back to that
Moment.
space you were in at that time. Cause after it's done, it's never coming back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why it's precious. This is a very deep segment here.
Yeah.
Because your lyrics,
Your
deep,
lyrics.
goddammit.
Hey,
It's
you know
really you.
what I'm saying?
It ain't me. Please, Jay, go crazy.
Oh, is it me? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Man, watch him drop
Hey,
the
yo.
whole shit.
Are you tired of the game
Watch
or
him
what?
drop
You
the
tired of
whole
the
thing.
game? All right now.
All right, here we go.
Oh, whether I'm rich or poor.
Hey, yesterday.
Oh, okay,
Sing it,
okay.
sing it,
That's
sing it,
it.
sing it, sing it, sing it.
Whether I'm rich or poor, just call me yours.
Yeah.
Me the same way you did as yesterday.
Whoa. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, kind of just
Yeah, don't change.
blatant.
Don't
It's
switch
like,
up.
yeah, like, love me for me and not my circumstances.
I love
is what I'm
that.
saying. Because,
Yes.
That happens a lot.
because and that's not love. That's not real love.
No, it's not.
You don't love someone just because they can do this for you. That you love them in spite of whatever flaws they have or whatever baggage they have or circumstances they have. That's what real love is. It's like
Yeah. That's
Unconditional love
yes,
is real
yes,
love.
yes.
But like, how do you?
I don't think-
it's so hard to
Yeah,
have
bro, I
unconditional
don't-
love, right? Because like, there's this question I used to go around asking all of my friends,
bro,
like
this
a lot
is
of
a
my
good bar.
like hyper successful friends, if you want to say that, and I would ask them,
Like Jay.
I would be like, yo, like, dang, bro, I low-key want a girl to want me for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, not the followers I have, for example, or just the
Yeah,
things
just
that
clout.
I have.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you do that?
How do you
and a
find
lot of
that?
them don't really know the answer to it.
Yeah, I mean, and there is really no answer because
Yeah.
the answer is going to be different for everybody because everybody lives their own individual life and have
subjective.
yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, since you do have notoriety, it's like some people you might meet someone through that,
Yeah.
but it's up to you to decipher what they're there for, and that's just by communication and spending time together and seeing, like
facts,
what
facts.
they're
Just
about.
reading, yeah.
Yeah, what they're about, and you'll
Yeah.
probably feel it instead of
Something-
like.
your gut never lies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
facts.
saying? You'd be
Instinct,
like,
yeah.
your first gut is like, yeah, that's.
God
and
gave
so-
you that instinct for a reason. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You gotta
I've
listen to
actually
it.
met someone, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, and
yeah.
like it wasn't like forced
Right.
though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like
That's true.
I was trying to look for.
He's in love right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we doing, bro? what? You know what? We moving on, cause it's over with.
I can't relate.
My
You know
turn,
what I
bro.
mean?
Yeah, we're not even fucking filming no more. We're just playing the game.
That's what it's supposed to be like, bro.
We just chilling.
Cameras ain't here,
You know what I'm
really.
saying? Hey, what we doing, bro?
Man, hit the all I
I
wanna
need
do,
I need
man.
help right quick because you know you got more experience in this.
I
you know
do.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
you just so basically you just kind of like just tap every single one, and then whatever's very loose, that's you just take it out.
Oh, okay.
Or you could just be
Nah,
like
nah,
a
I'll
daredevil
take it.
and just tap very slowly until it slowly like nudges and falls out.
Which one should I? Pick?
Bro, this man's a real teacher, bro. The way he explains stuff is so
This one.
fun. And nudging,
Yeah,
daredevil.
nudge it.
I'm
Give
like,
it the nudge
Hey, bro,
until-
listen to me, bro. Just don't drop it, because I want to actually
Ooh,
get
that might
through
be the
these
wrong
lyrics. Please.
That might be the wrong one.
You might as well hit
Nah,
this
hold on.
Oh, you can't change it? You can't change it. Oh, hey.
Who says
one. Bonzo, you don't know what you're talking about.
behind the camera.
You don't know what you're
Don't you
talking
talk to me.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It says if you change, you have to put $50 on the table.
Hey, Loki, this is getting tricky.
Very tricky. Ooh.
I do this every other day.
That boy clean, boy.
I do this for my people so they can eat too. Oh, look at that.
We was just talking
Look
about
at that.
Yeah,
We
I
was
mean-
just talking about that.
If you look at my lyrics from way back then, it's always been like a reoccurring theme. Like I've always been very family oriented, community oriented, like my crew.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with like a big family, like all the cousins always gathering and
Yeah.
aunts and uncles and eating and shit like that. And then I was part of the B-boy crew,
Right.
Art of Movement. And so everything for me, it's always been very like
Organized,
crew,
yeah.
like
Vibes, yeah.
community oriented.
Community. Yeah, that's cool, though.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make money. Is like for me, I didn't want to make money so that I could just have all these nice things by
wanna do it
myself.
for the
You know what I'm
people.
saying? It's like like
What does it mean when you can't do it? for
yeah,
other
like
people,
it
know what I mean?
doesn't taste good if you're eating steak by yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
Hey, you better write that one down, bro.
Hey, put
oh
that-
my
put
Lord.
that in the notes.
Hey, he just has
You
it
need
in
to
his
write that one.
pocket. He just every day just random. You gotta have an assistant that just writes your bars, bro. Like just you say something, he gonna use that in the year.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
it might be. I have like, including features, I have
Right.
400 songs out. So
400 songs.
yeah,
How many in the vault though?
This man's a
in the vault,
workaholic.
I don't know, like 20.
20?
Yeah.
Oh, you just put them all out.
bro.
Yeah, I put them all out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Most of them.
okay, cool.
Bubba, what you think about that?
I think Bobo like it.
You like that one, Bubba?
Facts.
400. How many have you heard?
Facts.
2?
3?
Cool. Probably gonna
Nah,
drop
we
it.
green. Oops.
We are not green, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. You gotta configure, brother.
The tower is
Recalibrate, man.
Tower is getting jiggy with it.
Recalibrate, brother.
I'm gonna tell you right now. We
Just
green.
think about it
I'm gonna
before
tell you right now. We green.
Bro, my head's hurting. You about to drop this. This your problem. You don't listen. I'm telling you right now, we green.
I thought it was green.
No,
man.
we're not green, bro.
Alright.
I mean, we could.
Yeah, I'm
said
lost
we
and
could
found
really-
my purpose now.
Yeah.
Were you lost before? Were you ever lost?
I mean,
That shit happened, though, huh?
everybody gets lost.
Yeah.
Everybody gets lost, and then but it's one of those things where it's like people are like, yo, like how do you like do all this shit? It's like you have to make an effort to find your purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a
like you
good
can't
one.
just be like, oh, like sit there and like, I'll just wait till it comes.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to go out and actually try to like put an effort to
Yeah.
find your purpose in life, find what makes you happy, what makes you valuable in life. Like,
Let me give you a scenario.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, hit him.
So for me, right now I don't know my purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna
Get
tell you
deep
why.
with it,
Yeah.
bro.
Damn, I'm going
Get
live
deep
TV
with it, bro.
this one.
Nobody knows this one.
So I had a purpose.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And my purpose was my mom.
Yeah.
But she passed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah.
But like, that happened, and then suddenly, inside, maybe outside I was fine, but inside I sort of crumbled
Yeah.
a bit. You know what I mean? Like, so like, for instances like that where you had a purpose and you
Yeah.
was going full force.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just
Yeah.
died off a bit,
Yeah.
right? So like, how do you maneuver that? Right?
So for me, I mean, I haven't lost a parent yet, so I can't be like, yo, like you do this. 'cause
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
experienced it yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like you would just need to continue, like, and obviously you're gonna need to take time to mourn and to heal and to like ease into finding like what you need to do in life, because obviously you're still young.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, you're still young, so there's no exact age or time where it's like, oh, this is what time I need to find my purpose by, or age I need to find my purpose. Like when I was younger, like you said, like my purpose was to try to, you know, make money to support my family and my friends, and then I was able to do that. And then what? It's like,
Then it's like,
yeah.
what? Right?
And then so you just keep moving, and then in doing what God has called you to do, like what feels natural to you.
Yeah.
And then within whatever you're doing, it keeps on expanding, it keeps on building, developing. Then you find purpose within that to go to the next step, or to, you know, let's say, inspire or motivate other human beings, or spread love and you know, change somebody else's life, because that's what makes you feel valued. Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
For
So
sure.
recently, I don't know when it's coming out, but recently I kind of like started feeling like, damn, I really like to inspire people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I go out there, I talk my shit, make people happy, make people pumped to go do shit. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a start. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. I'm making an effort. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just gotta trust the process.
That's
Trust the
smart.
process.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow.
Cool.
I mean, I think you just have to find value and love in other people and try to inspire. I think that's actually a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like everybody that you see that's like a legend, they did what they do for other people.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Martin Luther Kings, all of the people that passed away. It wasn't for them. It wasn't
Yeah.
their talent.
Yeah.
It was their talent to inspire others.
The being grateful thing though is
Grateful
pretty
is a good
tricky,
one.
isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, like
You know, and that's what keeps you humble.
Yeah.
Being grateful, being like thankful. Like nothing is definite.
Yes.
In life, like nothing is definite. Like, you know, us being able to eat, breathing air, like even with the COVID thing, like even going outside, like you see how
yeah,
quickly that could be taken
yeah,
away, right?
so fast.
Yeah, so it's like nothing is definite. So that's why I try to be grateful for
100.
every little thing, like the skies, you know, the air, eating, just being able to walk.
Bobo.
except- Bobo.
Bobo.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, yep.
So and then that's what keeps you humble.
Yeah,
Like, so-
100. Yeah,
Damn,
I like that, bro.
Man, we getting deep, bro.
we getting hella deep. I like
Good
this convo.
episode. Hey, yo, a lot of wisdom
Shout
dropped.
out Jay, man.
Dropped in this segment, you
No
know,
doubt.
as the Jengas dropped. You know what I'm saying? You know,
trying to
Jay
be
just
creative.
dropping bars. I'm trying to get signed, guys. That's what it is. I'm trying to get. You got a high music tattoo? Maybe I can make my way.
Let's go. Hey, when's the last time you guys went to Senegal?
January.
Oh, real? Oh, that hasn't been that long.
We got all this
bro.
tea from Senegal.
Oh, fire.
It's
Literally,
a
bro.
Senegalese tea, yeah.
And you call it Senegalese?
Senegalese.
Ooh, Senegalese. That's
Yeah.
fire.
Man.
Hey, you should teach me something like in
I
the
got
language.
You. Yeah,
What
I
you wanna know?
That's part of the plan.
I don't
anyway.
like, what's up? My name is Jay Park. Like,
So you want it in French or Wolof?
French, I already
Because-
know. Like,
Oh.
you know, what is it?
He forgot.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Jay.
Oh,
Merci, merci.
merci, merci.
Merci.
He's so funny.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Who taught you that one, man? Today we got African Senegalese tea.
Senegalese, West
You know what I'm
Africa.
saying?
What's it called?
Attire.
It's called a
Attire.
Attire.
yeah.
Yes.
So I
So
want you to try.
say, hello, my name is Jay Park. It's
Yeah.
basically salam alaikum.
Salah
Salam alaikum.
malikum.
Yeah.
Salam
so salam
alaikum.
alaikum means peace be upon you. Jay Park,
Jay Park.
la,
La
to do.
tudu.
Yeah.
Salam alaikum. Jay Park. La tudu.
Damn.
Yo,
Yo,
hey, we going to the motherland soon,
Yes,
man.
sir.
You
Yes,
gotta take a
sir.
sip of tea and we out, gang.
Now we gotta hit Senegal, man.
Let's do it. Almost like it's soju or some shit.
It probably is,
It's
bro.
the cups.
This the Senegalese soju.
Smell good, huh?
Yes.
Are you an art person?
You like
Funny thing
paintings?
is,
Do you
I'm
like
not.
painting
I'm
and stuff?
not.
Yeah, you not into that?
Nah, I'm not
Bro,
really
you
into
a
art.
whole artist.
I don't know. It's weird because like even fashion, like I like
You're not into fashion?
not really.
What?
Yeah.
Damn,
So
I
you
thought you was
swear.
a fashion guru, bro. You be fresh all the time.
I mean, stylist.
Oh
He
my
said,
God,
I'll
that's
do
so funny.
nothing.
I used to be into fashion when I was like, you know, maybe like younger. I don't know. I make it seem like I'm like 60 years old.
Yeah,
I'm not.
bro, you like
I'm
in your
not, bro.
30s. Like,
I don't-
what's
not,
going
bro.
on?
I don't know, bro. I just, a lot of shit's going on where I'm not worried about fashion and like paintings and shit like that.
What's like mind-boggling for me is the fact that like you make music,
Yeah.
and then you're also doing the business. Like, how do you even juggle that? Like, that's so crazy to me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm a businessman, but you know,
you
it's
just have good people.
I have good people, and also I feel like I have a good business sense.
Okay.
But that just comes from like me being able to read people and read the room and keeping up with relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's like in business, it's all about network. It's all about relationships.
yeah, it's who
right?
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about relationships. So it's like once you meet somebody, you never know where that's gonna go. And I'm not saying like, yo, like keep them just in case they might do it, but it's just like
That's a bit FUBU right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Like you never know, like where you guys might be able to benefit each other,
Yeah.
not use them, but benefit each other.
yeah,
because
100.
that's
Well,
different.
it's always mutual, right?
Yeah,
100,
to
yeah.
take advantage of
love
somebody,
that. That's
and
a
then
whole
to
nother thing, yeah.
and to work together is different. Synergy and using someone is different.
I think I was watching an interview a while back with, I think it was PH1, and
Yeah.
like you guys were like talking, and
Shout out to PH1.
shout out PH1, he's
Yeah.
gonna be on the show. You were saying like, he was saying how like you just give game all the time.
No, for sure. Because I feel like in hip hop, that's kind of what it was meant for. It's like, it's meant to be a voice for the voiceless. It's meant to
Yeah.
create something from nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, I was able to create something. So I feel like it's my duty to, give back,
Yeah.
and spread as much game as possible, so that other people can win.
What's cool about that is
yeah.
like most people in your, not like a lot of people in your position don't think like that.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. I feel like in life in general with everybody goes through something. Everybody's probably going through something right now.
Yeah.
Everybody watching this and everybody, like there's always struggle and there's beauty in the madness and all of that,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
But like I heard this quote from Sigmund Freud. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but it says something like, in retrospect, the most beautiful moments in your life is in the struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like all of the things that happened to you in your life that you viewed as a bad thing at the moment, and I don't know, you might be blaming God, you might be doing horrible
Yeah.
stuff, thinking the worst. After a couple years or something, it becomes a beautiful story that you like to tell, right?
Yeah.
So for you, like what's something in your life that happened to you that you wasn't a fan of at the time, but like it just happened to be one of the biggest blessings or something that formed J Park today?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say. So I feel like it's your job to turn it into a blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
agree.
That hit home,
Thank
but
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, because a lot, like you said, a lot of things happen to a lot of different people, and then the way you take it in and what you do with it, that's up to you.
a pivotal moment for me in my
yeah.
life was like making the transition to Africa, going to
Yeah.
Africa for like that long
Yeah.
and living there and living through that struggle. You know what I mean? I didn't have it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I really went through it there, and
Yeah.
it was like, it was great, but that was the funnest moments of my life.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
I was at my happiest.
Yeah.
When I was in Africa,
Yeah.
running around the street with no shoes on, playing
Yeah.
soccer in them rocks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit was when I looked at, bro,
Yeah,
that shit
every
was
time
too
we go
fun.
back, it's like nostalgia.
You know what I'm saying? Every
No,
time
for
I
sure.
go back, I'm going around looking at like, this January I was just in Senegal and I was like standing at the balcony and I was
Yeah.
looking at the little kids playing soccer right in front of the crib. So they would put like rocks
Yeah.
to play soccer and I
Yeah.
was like, I pulled up afterwards, like later I came, I parked and they told me, can you move your car? We're playing soccer right here. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that was me.
Yeah, like simpler times.
Yeah,
simpler
it's
times.
just, yeah, bro.
You guys are talking about like going back to where you guys are from and then living there for like it's same with me. Like I was born and raised in Seattle, and then I moved here when I'm like 17, 18. I had to, yeah, give up everything that my whole life there, all my friends, my family,
That was like
everything
a
I
scary
know.
moment for you,
Yeah,
right?
a very scary
Damn.
moment. From
It's
like,
like, oof.
it's like,
But that's like a blessing, right?
at the end of the day, it was like, yeah, because over there, like, I'm a minority too,
Yeah.
like Asian people, like, and back then people didn't even know what Korean was. Like, are you Chinese? Are you Japanese?
Yeah,
no, like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from Korea. They don't even know what Korea was.
They're like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I go to Korea, and they're like, oh, you can't speak Korean. Like, you're not one of us. So even one of those, like,
Damn, I
yeah,
went
yeah.
through that too.
Yeah, and like, I feel like it's very, finding my identity this whole time
Yeah.
was very hard for me because
Yeah.
growing up in America, it's either white or black, right?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
like you either get influenced by black people or influeed by white people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
one or
it.
the other, yeah.
Especially when you're younger, like there's no Asian representation except
Facts.
for Bruce Lee.
Facts.
Remember Tiger
Yeah,
JK?
Tiger.
yeah, well, yeah.
Shout out Tiger,
Obviously,
man.
Yeah. Tiger JK is a legend, but when I was growing up, so it's like what am I? Like, where do I fit in? And then
Yeah,
you come
yeah, yeah.
here, and then I still don't fit in. So
Yeah.
it took a long time for me
Yeah,
to
find yourself.
who I am.
But
Bro.
what's
need to make
beautiful
a
is you actually
documentary,
found
dude.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
so it's like,
this is
and that's
dope.
what makes me special is because like I'm me, and I'm the only one that's me with those specific
Facts.
experiences.
Talk about it, Jay.
And so that's why I could.
I like that.
Fit in a lot of groups, and then also kind of be like a bridge to different. Because a lot of people in Korea, they might not understand some things in the States or why music is the way it is, or
Yeah.
why we should be even thankful for being able to rap without dying. Feel me?
Yeah, facts.
Because a lot of rappers in Seattle and a lot of rappers in the States,
I know.
they
All the
I ain't
time.
never even
They
thought
waste
of
their
that.
lives all the
And
time.
I'm right here. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
Like,
saying? And vice versa. Like, you know, a lot of people in the States might not know why certain things are in Korea. So I feel like for me, it's dope that I could kind of explain or try my best to explain and educate both worlds to try to like bring that disconnect a little closer.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you're the perfect guest for the show, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
You're
know, I
making
guess.
an effort, just
I
like
guess,
Full
I
Squad
guess,
is.
I
You know what I'm
guess, I
saying?
guess.
Bro,
That's
what would you
dope,
say
bro.
is like your greatest trait that you're proud of?
I just feel like being open.
Open-minded,
Yeah,
huh?
open-minded.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, I don't, like you said, I don't ever shut off anything. And like I'm always open to hearing something out, even though I don't agree with it or it's not my cup of tea or whatever it may be. I'm still
hear it.
trying to, you know, I'm always a student of the game.
Facts.
Always.
I like that.
Always.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
you think that you know everything, that's when
That's
you
when
lose.
you lose.
That's when you
Yeah, for
start,
sure.
when you stop progressing.
Yeah.
And that's when you,
Growth limit, man.
when
I've
you
dealt
tank.
with a lot of people like that.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. There's a couple people out there that's like, you know, really big headed when it
No,
comes
of
to a lot
course,
of
of
stuff.
course.
Right?
And you
But
know,
then-
the universe humbles those type of people.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not really worried about, you know, when someone's like, oh shit, like hella cocky or whatever. I'm like, yeah, like you'll find out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Give it time. Give it
yeah,
time.
like, you'll find out.
Ginjana.
Yeah.
What's your biggest goal and biggest dream in life?
Biggest goal? I don't have any goals.
Oh,
my
damn.
goal my
That's
goal
a
is
new
to
one.
just
You don't have any goals?
I don't have any goals.
Anymore.
I've never heard
Anymore.
that.
Yeah.
So basically, for me, I have small goals throughout the year. You know,
Yeah.
let's say.
Sell
my
this
goal-
mini soju bottles.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
That's so funny, bro. Short-term goals, 5 a day.
So my goal has never been number oriented, to be
Okay.
honest. Yeah, like to make a certain amount of money or to. So like, let's say I want to put out an album. So let's work towards putting out an album. Put out the
Yeah,
album.
the goals.
Oh shit, like, you know, I need to find a label. Oh, let's make a label. Make a label. Yes, that type of shit.
Problem
Those
solved,
type
man.
of goals.
Okay, I love that. That's cool.
And then my goal in life is just to be happy, to be honest. And no matter how, you know, people where this like their version of success, like how successful I get, never to lose myself in that success, in all those, you know, like those, what is it, fantasies that people have of me. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
never, because if people even if people treat me like a god, I'm not a
Right.
god.
Okay.
And so I never want to, like.
Let that get to your head.
Yeah. I never
Yeah.
want to
You
think
know-
that I'm a god.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I never want to sell myself short either. I never want to sell out. I always want to stay true and authentic, and just never lose that what is it, human side of me. No
Yeah.
matter how successful. That's a goal.
That shit
That's
is
a good
hard
one.
though,
That's a
isn't
good
it?
one.
That's why it's a goal, right?
Yeah, because you know, it's and again, you have to put in that effort to
Yeah,
always
yeah.
try to be thankful, try to be humble.
Yeah.
Like even if people are like, oh man, you're the shit.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
nah. At the end of the day, same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of like the industry, we might be in different places, but
Sure.
in terms of being a human,
We're the same.
Yeah. So
Facts.
I always try to keep that in my head always, so that I don't. That's so that I'm respectful for everybody and that I can continue to spread love
Man,
instead of like.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you a dope ass motherfucker.
I was
man.
gonna say, I think a lot of people probably learned a lot from you today
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
didn't know any of the stuff that you're
No,
saying, and I've
yeah.
done a little bit of research.
No, for sure.
So I guess to you know, to end this interview, the last question I'd like to ask, which I feel you already answered eloquently.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people that love you, a lot of loved ones that know you, and
Yeah.
I feel like you have a good grasp of yourself.
Yeah.
What's a misconception people usually have of you?
I think in Korea, Korea is like they're like, oh, like, you know, your first impression is like you're very cold. I mean, because you know, when I'm just like, I think people say like resting bitch face. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't look too friendly if I'm just like I have like if I'm not smiling and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm just like, yo, like they're like, oh, you have this like aura about you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then they meet me and they're, oh, you're fucking goofy as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it went for the first time with this.
Yeah.
Literally.
One of those, and then yeah, I don't know, and then I guess like to some people they're like, oh shit, you speak English very well, and I'm like, yeah, I was born because you know they see me and they're like, oh, it's a Korean guy, he's, you know,
Yeah.
he's based in Korea, K-pop, okay,
wow.
and then they're like, oh, how do you speak English so well? I'm just like, yo, I'm from the
Easy.
States. So.
Yeah, I'm from Seattle.
Yeah,
dog.
yeah,
Like,
so-
Man, I like that, bro.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we learned a lot about Jay Park today.
We did.
And I
We
feel
learned
like through this video, maybe a lot of people can learn to love him again because, bro, this guy, I don't know why y'all hating on him. You know,
Some.
Maybe I should say
Some.
this without him on camera, but I
Some.
really feel this way. So, like, hopefully you enjoyed this video, bro.
I did.
Hopefully you enjoyed it, bro.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video too, everybody watching. And I just want to say stay tuned for the next video.
Yes. We
Let's
out.
go, Faux Squad.
Indeed. Peace.
Peace.